Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Salty Dog Podcast.
Let's get salty!
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 31 of the Salty Dog Podcast. I'm Clash, he's Dookie, and we, of course, are your salty captains.
Ahoy there!
Ahar! So, what news have we?
Well, there is some news, but I guess we'll talk about that when we talk about news.
Yes, we will. But the pirate talking is even, more relevant for me right now than usual, because this weekend is Gasparilla in Tampa, Florida,
shit.
where I live. So...
Man, I hate missing Gasparilla.
Yeah, I know. It would be the perfect place for us to get fired off on some grog.
Right? Oh my god, we could do a show, at Gasparilla.
Right?
Be super dope.
So for people who don't know what Gasparilla is, it's literally a pirate parade. They have, floats and all that stuff. Everyone dresses up like a pirate, and you basically just day drink all day and then get arrested.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's a pirate. It's basically dress like a pirate and get completely wasted. But they call it a parade, I guess. So
yeah.
We went. Did you go more than just the one time? We went that one time, and it was a lot of fun.
Yes, yeah, we did. It gets crazy down there though. It's like a huge block party, is what it really is. And there's
it's
just
many blocks.
Tons. Yeah, it's miles.
Yeah.
We walked several miles and. It's crazy, but yeah, Yellen and I are going to go to that on Saturday, so try not to get killed.
You got a pirate outfit?
I got that same one from last year, minus my hat.
Right, because some bitch stole it.
That's right. But we don't want to talk about that right now, because that's sad times.
That was pretty sad.
Yeah, I was sad about it. So,
what else in the world of Hearthstone and life?
Well, I'm currently 1 star away from rank 2.
Oh yeah, you've been flying up through them ranks.
This is the first month in a while that I've really hit ladder hard, and I'm so close that I really want to keep pushing. I feel like I could make it. I mean, we're right here at the end of the month. I've only got a few days left, and I really want to try to get there, though.
Yeah. You've got what, 6 days, 5 days?
Yeah.
You got the weekend coming up.
I could be there by the end of tonight if I win all my games.
Right, yeah. It's just, that's all it depends on. You just have to win all your games.
Right. No, I'm actually using a dragon version of Raza Priest right now. That's what I've been doing well with. So
okay.
My Malagos Druid got me so easily all the way to rank 5. From rank wherever the hell I started. It was just this smooth ride with Malagos Druid, or not Malagos, Miracle Druid.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I hit 5, it was just nope. It's so funny how that happens. Certain decks just
crazy.
Stop working.
Yeah, that's what happened the one season where I got to rank 5, and I was with that aggro paladin that was just a homebrew, and then it just hit that wall, and there was no more ranking up.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how that happens. I mean, it makes sense in a way because now we have those multiple ranks. It's every 5 ranks where you can't go back at all. So people of a certain skill level with a certain amount of the cards tend to pile up starting at those ranks. So you hit rank 5 and it's everyone that's just seriously laddering at that point. Whereas you could kind of still be, with people who are still kind of new to the game or still not taking it that, try hard seriously or whatever. But as soon as you hit 5, it's all try hard from there.
Yeah.
So I had to switch to a sellout cancer deck, because I just totally wasn't winning anymore, and that sucks.
That's the way. It's the only way.
So anyway,
I have mostly just been enjoying the Tavern Brawl because I currently have a quest to win 5 as Priest and win 5 Tavern Brawls. So I just go in, and if I don't get Priest, I concede. And
and waste your players, your opponent, your co-op player's time.
Yeah, but you got to be efficient. So
that's right.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just a little bored with ladder right now. It's gotten to that point where it's all just samey. So I haven't been. ready. I'm ready to hear what the next expansion is. So
yeah, we got another couple months yet.
Yeah,
probably another month and a half before we even start hearing about it, or somewhere in that range. But hey, Aggro Pally is still a thing, and Call to Arms is a really fun card. So I feel like you could get some progress.
Yeah, I could. Yeah. I just need to invest the time, which I just haven't had. But yeah, maybe next season it would be quite a climb to start now. So
yeah, no, you can't do it in the last 6 days of the season. But hey, maybe just wait until after February for reasons that we're about to talk about.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we did get some.
It for my week.
For your week, that's pretty much it for my week too. Work and ladder.
Yeah, streaming and streaming.
Yep. So we did get some news today. I'm sure everybody already knows about it. But if you haven't had a chance to hear about it, they are making changes to the ranked ladder system starting March. So we are going to go into what they said they're going to do and if we think that's going to be good or bad or whatnot in our news segment. So let's go ahead and check out what they're doing to the game.
What's happening?
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
Time is money, friend. Keep it quick, kid. I ain't got all day.
All right. So do you wanna like fill us in on what they're doing, Dookie?
Yeah, so we got a little video from the Brode, Ben Brode, Ben Brode himself. I don't know where it was posted, but I saw it on Twitter, so I don't know if it's on YouTube or anything, but it should be fairly easy to find. But basically, it was addressing some much-needed changes to the laddering system, and I think this is stuff that everybody is going to be totally okay with. So instead of at the end of a season, you know how you earn a certain number of stars, and then that starts you at a particular rank at the beginning of the next season. They're getting rid of that, and you're just going to drop 4 ranks at the start of every season. So if you were Legend, you'll go down to rank 4. If you were rank 15, you'll go down to rank 19. So that as long as you advance 5 ranks every month, you could eventually, play kind of casually and get to Legend or a high rank if you're shooting for that. So I think that's a cool change because it sucks having to slog through if you're a certain skill level, you're gonna get to a certain rank every month depending on how much effort you put into it. You have the skill and the capabilities of doing it, but it's just a matter of time. So much time. So now with dropping 4 ranks, if you were rank 1, you'll only be rank 5, and then you can just work your way back up to 1. So another thing they're doing is making every rank 5 stars. And what that means is, as you're ranking up, you have to get a certain number of wins to progress to the next rank, and they're represented by stars. And I think the earlier ranks are like 3 stars, and then it goes up to 4, and then 5, and I don't know if there are 6 later.
It actually, I think it currently goes all the way up to 7.
Wow.
Like when you're in rank 1, I think you got to get it. It's definitely at least 6, if not 7 or more wins to get out of rank 1 to Legend. Yeah. So also on that same token there with the star rating thing, since they are changing a lot of ranks to now require more stars to actually rank up, because you went from some ranks that are 2 and 3 star ranks to now they're all 5-star ranks. They're also changing what you need to do to get the end of season rewards, like the card back and like the little card treasure chests that you get and stuff. All you have to do now to qualify for that is win 5 ranked games.
Which is basically just go up a rank. Yeah, I don't know if we said specifically, but now all ranks this all starts March 1st, by the way.
Yes.
All ranks are going to be 5 stars or 5 wins to progress to the next rank. So the earlier ranks are going to take more wins, but the later ranks, which I feel is way more impactful, the later ranks are going to take less wins than before. So if you are a high-ranked player and you drop down to rank 5 or 6 or something, then you only have to get through these 5-star ranks to get up to Legend or whatever you're shooting for. So, and this all Ben Brode said these changes should in turn improve matchmaking, because you're going to be in a pool of people of a similar skill level rather than everybody dropping down super low and it being that what I always call the primordial goo of of ranked players, where it's just like you don't know what you're going to get, so you're still going to be among people who are in similar ranks as you. So I think these are just good changes. I mean, yes, it is going to make it easier for everyone to reach legend, but it's still going to hinge on your skill as a player. So
yeah, and it's still going to come down to a time commitment, because everything else remains true. There's no win streaking past rank 5. So even if you kind of leapfrog from season to season, like, you know, utilizing win streaks and just kind of, you know, utilizing that only 4 rank drop that you have now, like Dookie was saying, you know, if you rank up 5 times in a season, then you've made a net gain going into the next season, at least as far as where you start out.
Yeah.
But I mean, rank 5 is always going to be that hard check on like your progress, because your win streaks go away, and you get into. So I think it makes a lot of sense, because now you won't have legend players falling back to rank 15 or whatever it is, rank 12 or whatever they used to fall back to, and messing up everything back there. So I think it's better overall too, and I don't think it's going to make it all that much easier. Will it be easier to make it to legend? Yes. I do think it will be, especially since you can ensure that as long as you play enough, you're slowly creeping forward. But I don't think it's enough to like say, oh, like, you know, now legend's not going to mean anything or whatever.
Well, no, because you're still competing against people that have the same. They still have to follow the same rules you do. So it's still an equal playing field for everybody trying to get to legend, and you still have to be a skilled enough player. But it really benefits people like me who kind of want to play more casually and aren't going to hard ladder every month. But if I can go up just 1 rank every month, you know, eventually maybe if I'm sitting at rank 5 at the end of this year, I'll just make the push and, you know, get to legend, because I feel like I'm probably, you know, just good enough of a player to do it. Maybe not quite, but, you know, we'll see. But it makes it better for people who are good at the game but don't want to sink tons of time into laddering. So I'm into it.
Yeah, it does. It gives you this cool like way to plan ahead. I think that's the coolest part about it. Like, I really wish that it was being implemented at the start of February, because I would be sitting really pretty right now. Like, I wouldn't care at all about like not having much time left in the January season, because I'm already like, I can make the push to rank 2 easily, and that would put me at, if the new system kicked in at the beginning of February, that'd put me at rank 6 starting out with a whole month to ladder. And like, I could easily, like, you know, get to that safety net at 5 and then just have the rest of the month to push from 5 to legend. But unfortunately, that's not how it's going. So, but I feel like, you know, if you have the time to dedicate in February to try to push to a decently high rank, then you'll be like sitting really pretty when the March changes come in, because you'll be able to start a season at a much higher rank than you ever used to be able to. So that's a good way to try to plan ahead your time. This all takes place March 1st, so you have February to plan. But I'm all for it. I'm totally on board with it. So definitely,
it's good stuff.
Yeah, the matchmaking improvements should be great as well, because, you know, you don't want to be starting out at the beginning of a month and getting matched up against these insane players who all have legend card backs, but they're all way back in rank 15 and stuff. Yeah. So
as far as news, there's not a lot. The new Tavern Brawl went up a couple days ago, and it's one of those co-op ones, which are some of my favorites, where you're working together with the other player to take down a boss. And this time it's Nefarian, and you play as either Morgul or Anduin. So, and of course they have lots of cards that synergize with each other. And there's even, I think this is the first time I've seen this, there's specific new cards that they made just for this brawl that benefit both players. I don't think we've seen that in the past.
Right, right. Yeah, that's I think that we may have just like when we played as the bosses or just like random cards here and there, maybe. But it is cool that they're starting to create like dedicated card pools for like specific modes or whatever, because we know they're about to do that for Arena as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is cool.
So, yeah, it's interesting that they're making cards that are just specific for like one thing. I mean, we've seen like Magic the Gathering, not to bring up Magic again, but we've seen Magic do that with like the Commander sets and the Plane Chase and like all these little themed like side project cash grabs that they do. They print cards that are just specific. That they'll say something like, if your commander is in the whatever zone, blah blah blah, and that's only for that game mode. So Hearthstone's kind of taken a page out of that book, which is fine. It's cool.
It's cool, especially since like we haven't seen like a card pool set like that you actually have to buy. Like if they were like, check out these new OP Arena cards, it's just $10 to unlock the like to be able to show up in Arena or whatever.
Yeah,
that would be some bullshit.
Yeah,
but that's not how they're doing it, which is good.
No.
So hopefully, maybe since we know we're getting a patch that's at least big enough to like pretty dramatically change the way the ladder system works, maybe the beginning of March we could also see some new things implemented into the game, like the Arena specific cards, like who knows, some other kind of new events or something.
Yeah.
So, that would be pretty cool too. Maybe
really
even some balance changes, because everybody's really screaming for balance changes.
If there's going to be balance changes, they're going to be in the next patch. But who knows? If there's going to be balance changes, we don't know.
Exactly.
And they won't tell us, so
we're probably looking at like a confirmation of what we're actually getting in a patch within like the last 2 weeks of February. So
yeah.
That's something to keep an eye out for. We
last minute.
Yeah, last minute. That's when we always expect things. We actually keep really lucking out with our like date and time for our show, because like new news keeps coming out like hours before we have the show, which is kind of fun. Like cool. The rank ladder changes. Like they literally came out 4 or 5 hours ago.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. But yeah, Dookie's right. There's not a whole lot else in the way of news. Not really much going on with the meta that we haven't already talked about.
Yeah.
So our news segment will be a little short today. That's pretty much it. And so you swore that you were going to create a bumper screen for Q&A last episode.
So, okay. I also swore that on my Twitch channel I was going to have my emotes done by this week, and I didn't do that either. But I made a solemn vow yesterday, last stream, I made a solemn vow that I would do it this weekend and have them ready by Monday. So when I do that, I'll do the art for the bumper for Q&A.
Okay, so that sounds good.
Yeah, it's happening this weekend.
It's coming, folks. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we do things slowly over here, just like Team 5. We're taking a page right out of their book.
You'll get it when it's ready. Damn it.
The Blizzard mantra.
Yeah.
So, but I think we are pretty much ready to just go right into some Q&A today, though. We have some
good questions.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, the same thing. We have some good, like, more in-depth, like, questions that took some time for us and, like, some thought. So, we're kind of stoked to spend a little bit of extra time just doing the Q&A this time. So, let's see what we have up first here. This is a good one, especially since we have an interesting brawl right now. This one comes from Kuyoya, who says, what has been your favorite brawl so far? This can include Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So, I'll let you take this one first.
So I actually went back and researched. We had to go back and do research for a lot of these questions people asked us.
Yeah.
Because they're good, but they're hard questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like the brawls where you get to play as hero characters. So like the ones where it was like Nefarian versus Ragnaros, and the one where it was Rafam and I think Nefarian. But the one that I have the most fond memories of, I think, was Boombot versus Annoyatron.
Yeah.
Because it was just like pure chaos, and both decks like really like embodied, what that what Boombot does and what Annoyatron does. So like the Boombot deck had the Dynamite throwing the Mad Bombers and the Matter Bombers and anything that just did random damage to stuff. And then the Annoyatron obviously had like lots of taunt mechs and Divine Shield and stuff. And I really liked that one. I have like probably the most fond memories of just queuing up for that and hoping I get Boombot because he's way more fun in my opinion. But that for me it was Boombot versus Annoyatron. That was my favorite brawl so far.
Yeah. For me, I think I have to go with I don't remember the title of the brawl. I didn't have time to try and go search for what they actually called it, but it's basically the game reformatted as a deck builder game.
That's right.
Where you start with 10 cards in your deck, or like 5 or 10 cards, I can't remember, and they're just chickens and coins, and that's all you have.
Right.
And you get to discover a card every turn and build your deck that way, and it like shuffles it into your deck. And there's just like so much strategy to it because you're like, oh, am I going to take this card that's like really insane, but it's like kind of late game, or am I going to try to take cards to like get early for tempo and stuff. I really like it because it's the first mode that seemed truly unique among modes in Hearthstone. Right, you've got Arena and you've got Constructed, and that's pretty much it as far as Hearthstone's concerned.
Yeah.
As far as ways to play the game, this was the first time I really felt like I was playing Hearthstone in a new way. Like, it's cool to play as the bosses, but you're still kind of doing the same stuff, like using your hero power, doing this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But I really feel like I'm almost playing a different game when that brawl is live. So I really like that one.
Yeah, that one was fun. I actually did find myself queuing up for that one just for fun a lot. I think my biggest problem with it was always very time consuming. So lots of times I like to use Tavern Brawl to do quests. And with that one, it was like, if I'm gonna like get out one win, it's gonna take like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But I do like that. It's a lot of fun. And once I like, I don't know, I had like an epiphany moment with that Tavern Brawl. Like once I got it, I was like, oh shit, this is really fun.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I also really like the super broken, stupid, exploitable ones. Like the one where you only like make a deck of 5 cards and your whole deck is copies of that card, and you can just like, Radiant Elemental and Power Word Shield forever until you get Inner Fire and just win. Stuff like that.
So patches and what else?
Yeah. You patches, you pull himself out of the deck. Yeah. I do like the exploitable ones.
I'm in charge now.
So the reason I like those, though, is because it's a great way to grind out gold. Because the games are so quick and you can just win and you're like, okay, another win. Like I've won like 20 times in one day in Tavern Brawls before like that. But still, as far as actual like good mechanics and construction to a Tavern Brawl, it's got to be the deck builder for me.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from with that one. Yeah.
All right, you want to take the next question for us?
Yeah, the next question was from Aorikos, who is in chat with us today. They asked if you could choose a card from the card challenge submissions and add it to the real game. Which would it be?
Yes.
So for me, we both had to do some research. We had to look back and look at all the card submissions from the past, and we may have missed some just due to, there being a lot. But the one that I remember being the most excited about was called Blacksmith Sword, and it was a submission from Mana X, and it was a 3-mana 1/3 warrior weapon that got +1 attack whenever you attack. Oh, you have a picture of it.
Yeah.
+1 attack whenever you attacked, which, it makes it a 3-mana 1 attack, 3-mana 2 attack, 3-mana 3 attack. It's not like great or anything. But since Warrior has so many ways to buff a weapon and keep a weapon around, I just thought it was so cool that you could like upgrade this. You could green skin it. You could what the stab on his hair pirate
stab
chick.
On his hair.
Yeah, whatever she says.
Yeah, the cultist, the
cultist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just like you could keep this thing on for like turns and turns and turns and have it be just a monster of a weapon. It would go super well in like pirate decks. So I really liked Blacksmith's Sword from Mana X. That one was good.
Yeah, I remember when we were, because this was your challenge too, and you were like, make a weapon, and I remember that you were really stoked about this one. Mainly, the main thing about it is the upgrade mechanic. So as long as it exists in a pool of cards where you can upgrade it like pretty decently easy, this card gets pretty crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so my choice for this one, again, like Dookie was saying, we looked through as many of the cards as we could, and we have so many good submissions. I mean, when you open up the entire like catalog of cards that we've gotten, it's huge, and there's so many great ones in there. So
yeah.
We'll definitely revisit this idea again. But through my look through it today, the one that sticks out to me, and I just got like really excited to just see it again, is this one here, which is a submission from I'm a Dragon. And it was for our what was the actual challenge when
this was the blood challenge.
The blood challenge, which was like it started out as just like a funny one because I was talking about getting my blood drawn that week. That's right. But I really like this one. So Hakar the Soul Flayer is a neutral legendary 5-mana 4/5 that battle cries to change your hero's power to Corrupted Blood, which is 2 mana to give a minion at the start of your turn deal 2 damage to your hero. So it just like creates this whole new little interplay with like making your hero power like really strong and capable of dealing a lot of damage if left unchecked over time. But in doing so, it promotes your opponent to play differently, to kill off the minions that you're enchanting with this, power or whatever, this corrupted blood power. I just think it's really cool, and as soon as it comes down, it kind of changes the whole texture of the game, the way that you want to play it out.
Mm-hmm. You seem to like cards that change the texture of the game.
I do really like that.
Like Sylvanas.
Yeah, I do. It makes the games more fun to me. I mean, it kind of sucks in a way when it comes down on you. Like, I remember hating it when like really good board states of mine were threatened by Sylvanas when they came down. But I think that just means, it's like a well-designed card or whatever. That's my personal take.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. It definitely, it shakes things up.
It does. So. What I really hate in Hearthstone, especially just because of how Hearthstone is a very non-reactionary game, you have no chance to respond to anything that your opponent's doing when he's the active player, is cards that, or decks, just entire decks or archetypes that I say play solitaire. Basically, they don't give a shit what you're doing on your side of the board. I think the perfect...
Quest Rogue.
Yeah. Well, Quest Rogue, that's a great one. The one that I always go to in my brain when I'm thinking of solitaire decks is Freeze Mage. Nobody doesn't give a fuck about what you're doing more than Freeze Mage. Because they're ice blocked, they know you can't kill them. If your damage is coming from board at all, they know they can freeze you. All they need to do is make sure that they live long enough, play their cards sparingly enough, and draw well enough to assemble their infinite, like their over 30, their OTK combo.
Yeah.
And that is just such a shitty matchup to play.
I agree.
It's just so boring because you're like, there's the ice block. Okay, now they're freezing my board. Now they're freezing it again. It's frozen again, and I hate that stuff. So.
I completely agree. And like, even though like, I feel like I've said this many times, but as an aggro player, I think a lot of the early aggro decks in Hearthstone did play solitaire. And they were just like, I don't care what you're doing. I'm just going to fucking throw damage at your face and you're going to die. But the game, they managed to make, and it's a very impressive feat, honestly. They've managed to make the game still a board struggle, regardless if you're playing control or aggro or value or tempo. You're not going to win with an aggro deck if you can't establish some kind of board and fight for board supremacy. So I completely agree. Like in a game where there are no reactionary cards that can be played on your opponent's turn, you need to give your opponent a chance to do their thing, and you have to respond to what they do. So
yeah, there has to be interplay
totally
between the decks, and this is exactly like this reasoning is exactly why we've seen nerfs to things like Ice Lance. Well, not necessarily nerfs, but just rotations to Wild, just because they don't want solitaire decks to dominate the format. And we actually have one more. So the question, just revisiting the question, it was if we could choose submissions to add to the real game, what would they be? So it's kind of, like what are our so far favorite submissions? We actually have just like an honorable mention that we want to bring up again from somebody we do have here in chat today, Aorikos, who almost word for word, well, pretty close, called the actual Death Knight for Priest, which his submission was called Void Lord Anduin. It even had the Void name in it, which of course you get Void form when you use it in the game. But he was a 7-mana hero card that gave you 4 armor and did the Shadow or Death mechanic that the actual card does only your opponent's minions, which was just destroy all enemy minions with 5 or more attack. Of course, the real one's 8 mana, gives you 5 armor, and deaths the entire board, including your own. But the hero power was pretty different. The hero power on this one was 4 mana. It was called Void Consume, and destroyed a random enemy minion. Of course, we know what the Shadow Reaper Anduin's real hero power is.
Yeah.
Which is much more OP. But it was so close. It was just kind of crazy to see that when it was released.
That's such a specific detail. Like, he comes out and Shadow or Deaths the board, and the fact that Aorikos totally predicted that was like, whoa.
Yeah, it came out. That was the first thing I thought when I read it. I was like, holy shit! Like, that was one of our card submissions, pretty much. So, yeah.
So that was cool.
So we just wanted to throw that one back out there because it's really cool to when one of us, one of our viewers here at the Salty Dog is just like so in tuned with the card. I think it's happened like pretty close like another time or two in the past as well, where cards have been pretty similar to each other.
Do you work for Blizzard or what?
So. That was a great question. I liked that one. It was cool to go back through and like revisit all the old cards. I think there may have been like a period in time where I had to delete like a batch of them or something because to like free up space on my hard drive. So I think there might have been some that I didn't even like see again. It didn't seem to go like back as far as I thought it should. So we'll have to kind of go through our Twitter and try to reclaim all those cards.
Do a nice Hall of Fame. You want to read the next question from DJ?
I do. DJ Fresh asks us, if you could have one card from any expansion be in standard forever, what card would that be? I don't know if DJ can actually hear us right now. He was saying he has no audio, but he is here in chat with us.
Yeah.
But, so hopefully he can hear us answer his question. But what would your card be?
I didn't research too extensively, but I feel like this answer is just as good as any, if not the best answer I could give. I would say Call to Arms, which is a current Kobolds and Catacombs card. 4-mana spell, summon 3 minions from your deck that cost 2 mana or less. Just a brutal aggro card for Paladin. And I would love for that to just be around forever, and be able. It's so ridiculous. Just when you get board wiped by a Duskbreaker on turn 3, and you're just like, yeah, well, fuck you. Here's 3 more minions, and this one has charge. So I love Call to Arms. Such an insane card.
I'm not surprised at all to see that. As soon as I saw that card. I immediately thought of you, of course, like Paladin, like super aggressive card that it's also deck thinning, and you and I both love that shit. When a card is a deck thinner in addition to the other things that it does.
Yes,
so
absolutely. Yeah, and then then you get your Divine Favor and you're drawing your finishers basically. You're not drawing your low cost garbage after you've called arms once or twice. So yeah, I love that card.
Yeah, definitely. I like it a lot too, honestly. It was the one thing that actually got me to seriously play Paladin on ladder, and for like a while. Do you remember when I was playing aggro Murloc Paladin?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like kind of when the set first came out.
Yeah, you had your fish to arms deck.
Yes, fish to arms. That's what I called it. So I also these we kind of tackled these questions all just today before the show, because I mean that's when we asked, was just a few hours before it, so we didn't have a lot of prep time for like these like deep questions. But the first card that comes to mind for me whenever anyone asks me like a card that I miss or a card that I would like to see always be able to be played, I just always think of Vol'jin. He's not necessarily the most overpowered card. I mean, they're like, even when he was, usable, or before the wild standard rotation happened, he wasn't used in any meta decks or anything. I used him because I love the card. But I really like the card. I mean, he's only 5 mana. He's got 6 power. He comes down really aggressively. He's almost removal as long as you're using something that you can like combo off of him with to finish off the minion. Just by the way, if anybody doesn't remember what Vol'jin is, he's a 5 mana 6/2, and he battle cries to swap his health with any minions on the board. So he gives whatever minion you're swapping to health. So he's allowing you to finish that off with a void form shot, with a shadow form shot, if that was ever a thing. Using the card Holy Smite, if you're using like, Velen in there, that's just another reason why you can throw a Holy Smite out, finish off a minion that Vol'jin has Vol'jined.
Yeah.
And
Vol'jin,
I just really like it.
Like if an Ancient of War comes down and you're just like, I'll take that 10 health.
Yes.
And now this thing is not a problem. Yeah, just Vol'jin, I mean, definitely like a little situational, as priest cards tend to be. But Vol'jin's a priest card where I'm not like, this is scummy. I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably more than just the card's mechanics. The reason why I like it so much.
He's just a G.
Yeah, Vol'jin's like a total gangsta from WoW proper, and I thought they did his card really well. Where what he says when he comes into play, and he even had like a special interplay with Garrosh, because Vol'jin ends up being the war chief of the Horde for a while in World of Warcraft, after Garrosh is dethroned, because Garrosh is like a total psychopath. Yeah. And I hate that he's the warrior guy, because I just hate Garrosh in general.
Yeah.
But when you would play him against Garrosh, he would say, "Who be the war chief now?" And I fucking loved that, because it's just such a taunt.
So on a loosely related note, I've been setting up my ringtones and stuff for my new phone. As you recall, I was doing that when I was in Florida. I was asking everybody their favorite video game song to use as a ringtone. But anyway, so for my alarm tone, I actually downloaded that. When you'd go to a troll encampment in World of Warcraft, like a small troll like town, and it had that music that was just like drums and like didgeridoo. It's like
That was a very good interpretation of a didgeridoo.
Yeah. So that's what I wake up to every morning, and like, how your alarm usually like pisses you off a lot.
Oh hell
like,
yeah!
You start to hate whatever song is waking you up. That's one that's just like, I hear that, I'm just like, I'm home.
Really? That's so funny, because you never even like played Troll. That's so funny.
No. I mean, honestly, if you just play Horde, you hear that everywhere, because there's so many little troll encampments. There's like the one in the hinterlands and the one in the Desolus, and they're everywhere. So that music, just like, I didn't realize how familiar it was to me until I listened to it, and I was like, oh, that'd be a great alarm tone. So anyway,
that's funny.
Trolls are cool.
Yes, I love trolls. All right, so do you want to do... so for the last 2 questions, we actually got ones that were just targeted towards either me or Dookie. We got one each. So you want to take yours first, or you want me to go? Or
I'll read yours to you.
Oh, okay, that's sweet.
All right, yeah. So this one was from Steph Van Essen. Since today's card creation is about Pokemon, Clash, what's your favorite Pokemon? Favorite Pokemon game or generation? Favorite rival? Favorite type? We want to know it all.
Everything. All of my favorites from Pokemon, period. So this is pretty tough for me because I have kind of a weird relationship with Pokemon. Like, I was super into it when I was a kid, and I got out of it after, like, Yellow version, basically. Like, I didn't really continue to play it for a while, and like, I just totally adopted this whole, like, Gen 1er mindset for a little while. Like, for, you know, basically no reason. Like, no one really has.
Usually there is no reason.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, whatever, it's not cool anymore. And then it really took Dookie, actually, to be like, no, it's like, it's still pretty fun, or whatever. And so then I don't think I played another gen until X and Y.
Did you didn't play Black and White?
Well, no, I did. I came back at Black and White.
Yes, you came back at Black and White.
Yeah, and I enjoyed Black and White, and there's definitely, like, some cool stuff. Like, I'm a fan of dark types and stuff, which weren't even a thing in Gen 1. But I still can't shake, like, some of my, like, Gen 1er thoughts or whatever. So, like, a lot of my favorite stuff is still from that gen. And it's probably, you know, mostly, like, a mixture of nostalgia, and I do think that some of them were particularly well designed, like Jolteon, who is my favorite Pokemon.
Yep.
I just, for a lot of reasons, like, I started to, like, sort of get a little bit more serious about Pokemon. Like, at first, you know, I was a kid when it came out. Like, how old were we? I can't even remember.
We were in 6th grade, so we were 10, 11.
Yeah, so, like, right in that range. Like, we were just playing it for fun, but, like, when I actually started, like, wanting to, like, when my min-max brain started to form, I actually started wanting to, like, figure out what the strongest Pokemon of each type were, and I was, like, super stoked that Jolteon was, like, the strongest electric type, because he's so fast. And I just, like, built...
He's still up there, too.
Yeah, I just love him. I love his design. I think he looks super cool. I love Eevee, just first of all, and all of the things that that she can turn into. But Jolteon was always my favorite. I am still kind of partial to electric types because of that. I really like speed. Like, my whole team is always just, like, all these fast guys. Like, my second favorite Pokemon is Arcanine. I just love that dude, and, you know, how he's like the best Pokemon in the game. I don't know if it's still true, but to use the move Extreme Speed, so, you know, he always goes first, even if it's another priority type move or whatever. My favorite rival, I mean, I'm being super just generic here, but I mean, it's gotta be Blue.
No, like, I mean, I've played every single generation, and Blue is the best rival, objectively. Like, that's like being like, what's the best baseball? Is it original baseball, or is it super baseball that came later, or is it diet baseball that came after that? Like, it's like
diet baseball.
Like the thing that defined what it is the best of it, because it's what it is. Like, he defined being a rival. So until another rival does what he did, basically exactly or better, there will never be a better rival than Blue. That's just my opinion. Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, I guess you can, like, at least give them credit for trying to make the rivals different, like, rather than just, like, you know, reiterations of the same thing over and over. Like, I know you always really like to go on your rant about the rival that's not really a rival or whatever. Who, I think he's from Black and White, the one where you're all just, like, friends.
Yeah, I mean, that started happening.
Yeah.
That started happening pretty early on. But yeah, Black and White was where that really got bad, where it was Sharon and Bianca, and it's like, yeah, we're friends. It's like, I don't care. Like, no character in Pokemon has ever had, like, I may be, like, forgetting, like, one or two, but, like, it is extremely rare in Pokemon. These games are for kids. That there's a character that has enough depth for you to actually give a shit about them, because usually they're just saying a bunch of dumb, asinine, super one-dimensional stuff. But and Blue, I'm not saying Blue wasn't one-dimensional.
Yeah.
And that he didn't have a very specific theme and, like, archetype to him.
Smell you later, Gramps.
Right, but his like, what, you know, a good way to make the player care is to piss them off, and that's why he was such a good rival, because you would just beat him into the ground, and he would act like, you're like, I'll show you this time, bitch. Like, what? Okay, what do you have to say about that? I just whooped your ass. And he's like, yeah, whatever. my Pokemon are still cooler. Smell you later.
And you're just like,
oh, this guy. Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah, I agree. But like just to try to break from my Gen 1-iness a little bit, I'm a huge fan of Mega Evolution. I really liked Absol a lot. I mean, makes a lot of sense, right? Like he's, you know, a 4-legged doggo type thing. He's fast. He does like lots of damage. Like, you know, all of my favorite Pokemon are in that vein, kind of. But Mega Evolution Absol, where he gets the wing and like the wings and stuff, like that just totally rocked my world when they unveiled
Sephiroth,
that.
The Pokemon.
Yeah, basically, he is Sephiroth as a Pokemon. I also was a huge fan of Yveltal, and with Sun and Moon, I thought that the whole the theme of the legendary Pokemon was really cool. Like the whole alchemy thing they had going on was pretty sweet. So.
You didn't play those games, did you?
Sun and Moon?
Yeah.
I started to, but I didn't finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Moon, and I didn't get all the way through. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. In general, like, I find it hard to care about, like, the single-player story of Pokemon, but, okay. Last tangent on this Pokemon question, and it's over. But I have to tell this story because I got super competitive during X and Y, and I spent hours and hours and hours building a team.
Oh, this story.
Yeah, it's this story. I spent a lot of time, like more time than I ever cared to, like, actually fully admit. And I got every, like, hidden ability and like, every single, like, thing that was difficult to get from breeding. I got it all for my whole team. I had, like, Protean, Greninja, and all that stuff when it was, like, just came out. And I had this case that I kept my 3DS in. And it also had slots for all my games, so it was like really convenient because it protected my 3DS and kept all my games together, and I could keep my styluses in there. And I was leaving a friend's house one day after playing some Pokemon over there, and I had a bunch of stuff in my hands. I had like a 12-pack of beer in my hand.
Yeah, we had been drinking.
Yeah.
So.
And I had some other stuff, and I got to my car, and like I had too much stuff in my hands, and like I had to get my keys to unlock my door, so I put some stuff on the roof of my car, and opened the door and put the other stuff in, and I left my fucking 3DS case with my 3DS and all of its games on the roof of my car. I got in my car and I drove down the street, and I never saw it again. And that was basically the last time I could ever bring myself to play Pokemon again.
Yeah, that was very sad.
That's my sob story.
Yeah, that was pretty fucked.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll never get over that fully. So let me read your question for you.
Okay.
This comes from Peter Ciarelli. This one is for Dookie. This has absolutely nothing to do with Hearthstone, which is fine, because that's basically the theme of today's show. But I know you are a Mega Man fan, so have you read the Mega Man comic? It's really good if you ask Peter.
Yeah, I definitely picked it up, issue 1. I still worked at a comic book store when that started coming out, so I had, like, fucking first dibs on that. And I enjoyed it just for the fact that, like, it was a Mega Man comic and the art was nice and it wasn't like the writing was bad or anything. It was just like, cool, Mega Man. And then I dropped out of it, like, right before the Mega Man Sonic crossover, which I heard was really good. And it's just one of those things that I've just been meaning to catch up on one of these days. Like, I need to buy just, like, the graphic novels and just binge them, or just go into a Barnes and Noble and don't buy anything and just read them all there.
Yeah.
You know, but so to answer your question, yeah, I've read the first little chunk, but I haven't kept up with it in years. So that's something I've been wanting to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's always something that you could, like, I'm sure they've, like, bound, like, every Mega Man comic from that era into, like, the same huge book.
Yeah.
You could just, like, get that.
Oh, DJ just brought up Mega Man. He said Mega Man Giga. I assume he's talking about Mega Man Gigamix. And before Gigamix, there was Mega Man Megamix. And these were 3-part manga series. And I have all of Megamix, and I read it all, and I loved Megamix. And I have 2 out of 3 of Gigamix, and I didn't like Gigamix as much. But those are really cool because they're more like, they're more manga-y. They're more weeby, you know. So
yeah, the weebier the better.
Right. So those are really cool.
Yeah, I never got around to reading any of those. I knew you were getting them, and I always wanted to read specifically the Sonic Mega Man crossover because I was always like a Sonic kid. During the Sega era when I was a youngster, I really liked Sonic, so I'd be interested in that.
What was that thing you were getting me for a present?
Oh yeah, dude, I thought of that like not too long ago. Did that
just never come?
I think they never made the book, dude. I don't think they ever made the book. So I was ordering Dookie like birthday or Christmas presents or something one year from Amazon, and there was like these advertisements I had seen for a book called Mega Man Dawn of X. If anybody in chat has ever heard of this, or like knows if it ever came out or what happened to this book, but it seemed really interesting to me because the description of the book said it describes kind of like a blank spot in Mega Man lore, which is what happens between Mega Man and X, and they actually said that Mega Man and X like coexist at one point during this book, and which was like really interesting. And I thought it would be cool for you because we were doing the drunk lore thing, and you had talked about like this time gap and stuff. So I ordered the book, and it was supposed to come in just like a couple weeks, and I was like, it's gonna be late, but it'll get here. And I kept consistently getting these emails saying that the book was delayed, and I never got the damn thing.
It's crazy.
So Yo-Yo says it exists. So I guess maybe it came out like sometime and they just were like, fuck it, we're not sending it like anymore.
Dude, you should go get a refund.
I should. I don't even know if I could dig up that order. Like how many years ago was that now? It was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's I have read some Mega Man comics. To answer your question.
We got another question developing right now in chat. It says, wait, Clash is the one that helped do Drunk Lore? And the answer is yes. Oh, yeah. Actually, Clash was the one who pitched Drunk Lore to Dookie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was...
Yep.
We were watching a lot of Drunk History during that period of time, and I loved that shit. And I was like, does somebody do this for video games? I'm sure they do. You know, like, I'm sure that happens. Yeah. And we looked it up, and there just wasn't anything. It's so funny because we actually talked about this not too long ago, and we were talking about maybe if Dookie ends up coming back to the Florida area, maybe sometime next year or so, we might do some more Drunk Lores together.
Yeah, so. Drunk Lore Season 2.
Yep.
I have to catch this Abra.
Okay, let's all pause the show real quick.
No, we don't have to pause the show.
No, I know.
So what else?
We don't have any more questions. But
that's it for questions.
Yeah. So where does that leave us? I think...
In our miscellaneous gaming segment that isn't really a super fleshed out thing yet. The only thing that I really have to report on is I got to try Monster Hunter World with Brett last Friday. We did the last demo of Monster Hunter World on PS4.
That's really cool.
And I got to try that, and I played Dual Blades, and we beat 3 out of the 4 monsters, but the 4th one was just fucking stupid. So
sounds like Monster Hunter.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. The game looks great. I'm definitely gonna get it. So
yeah.
Yay. Also, this just popped into my head. Shadow of the Colossus is getting a PS4 remake like early next month, so that should be cool. That's a great game.
Here's a question though: why didn't they just make a Shadow of the Colossus sequel for PS4?
Well, you know that whole step of game development where you have to like design a game?
Yes.
They don't have to do that.
Just skip that part.
Yeah, just
yeah.
So anyway, that's basically all I have to talk about as far as other gaming realms.
Yeah, I just like, what is like, do we have anybody in chat that has like something they're super stoked about for 2018? Because I've kind of like been trying to poke around like and look at what's coming out, because I do want to like expand my gaming repertoire again. And I'm just like not seeing much to be stoked about. Like,
we're getting to that age where they can't pull their tricks on us anymore and make us think that their game is good.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, a lot of people saying Monster Hunter Worlds, Metroid Prime, the new
Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
I don't think that's even this year. So
yeah, it may or may not be. See, that's the thing is like I keep seeing like HD collections remastered and like the perfect example. We got into this not even too long ago. The last time that you were in town, we were at Holiday Matsuri and we were talking about how every freaking Star Fox game is a remake of Star Fox 64.
I know.
And I'm
even
like,
Star Fox 64 was like basically a remake of the first Star Fox.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, it's not that hard to make a flight sim game like that follows like furries, okay? So like you can come up with a new story. You don't have to keep doing the same thing. Like I don't want to get a new Star Fox game and literally start out in that same level where I know where the rings are gonna be and like you gotta fly under the arch and then like why are we doing this for the 6th time? Just make a new game.
Yeah. I don't know why that's so difficult.
Sorry.
Star Fox really like. I know Metroid fans have it pretty rough, but I feel like that's on the path to recovery. But Star Fox fans have it pretty rough too. They may get more consistent releases, but that might not even be true. But they're not good.
No.
Metroid's had what, 2 flops?
Yeah, and the last great Metroid success, what was it? It was a fucking remake.
It was a remake.
That's what
but
I'm saying.
But it was really good.
Yeah. And I mean, it was enough to basically make it its own game, but like, why wasn't it just its own game then? You know,
play it?
Yes, I'm gonna play it.
You have it. It's in your possession.
I do. It's sitting right over there. I
can see it from here.
Do you see that? It's like sitting there next to my clock. That's the other 3DS I got when the other one went bye-bye. So, anyway, I think that does it for Misc Gaming. We're basically just ranting about remakes now. So, I think that leaves us with just our card submission challenge to go through.
That's right.
And I think it was your challenge last week.
If
you want to refresh us all.
Since I have been playing Pokemon Go, which I do have open on the couch next to me just in case something really interesting pops up. Since I've been playing Pokemon Go a lot, and I have a dream about it basically every night.
Wow.
It's getting bad. I had a dream I saw a Rayquaza on my Poké Radar last night, so there's that. But anyway, the challenge was make a card based on Pokemon. It could be a Pokemon, or it could be a trainer, an item, a move, anything from the Pokemon universe, make it into a card. And we picked our 6 favorites as usual. It was really hard. Don't feel too sad if yours didn't make it in, because there were a lot of good ones, and we spent way more time than usual like figuring out what 6 to put in. So
yeah, we really did. Like there was some that was just like so close. So we might have to even do another Pokemon one sometime, and you guys can recycle those or something, because you guys had some really good ideas this time. It was really good. So it was a tough one for us. But let's check out what we got this time with our Pokemon cards for Hearthstone Cards challenge.
Prepare yourself for the ultimate test.
All right, up first from Steph Van Essen, we got a rogue legendary called Darkrai. We all know Darkrai. We all love Darkrai. He is a 6-mana 4/4 that battle cries to put all enemy minions to sleep, which is basically, he explained, like, they call it summoning sickness in Magic. It's basically when you throw a card out and it doesn't have charge and it's got those Z's there, and they can't attack until you give them a turn.
Yeah. So it's basically like freezing them.
Yep. But it is.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
It's freezing them, except I think cards with charge would still be able to attack, because I don't think they ever sleep.
Maybe not. I guess that's an interesting question. I also feel like sleep usually is like discarded when a player's turn starts, though, right? So
yeah, it would have to work around that.
The battle cry may have to say, like, at the start of your player's at the start of the enemy player's turn, put their minions to sleep, or whatever. Yeah. It obviously the intention is not for them to be able to attack. the
Right,
first
yeah.
like when you
Yeah,
pass the
we
turn,
knew
so,
what
yeah.
they were going for there.
Exactly. I really like it. It seems really a lot like a rogue card because, you know, on 6 mana you can vanish, right? And rogue's removal is usually, you know, it's like sap and vanish and stuff like that. Their like more efficient removal is always not really
Stall.
removal. It's stall, yeah. And I think this is balanced, even like though vanish is the same amount of mana, and it technically does kind of the same thing. There are certain things that returning minions to your opponent's hand is way better about. Like, you know, if their hand's full, like you're loading their hand and they're burning cards, it gets taunt minions out of the way. They have to pay that mana again to play those minions again. So I think it's totally a decent trade-off for the 4/4 body.
Yeah, I think this card's balanced, and it kind of brings in a new mechanic. It's just, yeah, it's good. It's interesting. I like it. That's why we picked it.
It's pretty cool. All right. So thanks for that, Steph Van Essen. That was some good thinking. Up next, it also captures Darkrai and, you know, what he's all about really well, which is cool.
Yeah, he's got that. I can't remember the name of the move, but he's got that a signature sleep move just to him, like Dark Void or whatever. So
yeah, which makes a lot of sense. All right, up next from Fallardorf, we have Salamence. I'm gonna let you just take this one because I know this is kind of your baby.
Yeah, no, oh man, I love me some Salamence. So Salamence is an 8 mana 6/6 charge dragon, and he gains +2 attack whenever he kills a minion. So you know, an 8 mana 6/6 charge, you're at 3 mana higher than Leroy for 6 attack on charge. So, you know, that doesn't seem too OP. King Crush is a 9 mana 8/8 charge, so that doesn't seem too OP. But anyway, and then of course, if you're killing minions with him and he's gaining attack, what's the likelihood he's going to survive the next turn? Probably not very high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I think
not.
he's just got enough versatility. And then, of course, what this is capturing is the ability Moxie that Salamence can have, where when he kills a Pokemon or when he faints a Pokemon, he gets an attack boost. So, you know, you just outrage till you win, basically.
Definitely.
So I like this card. Captures the Moxie ability, and pretty. You know, it's fairly balanced for a you know, charge card.
Right, yeah. The one thing that came to mind for me was it seems just like pretty much straight up better than Charge Devilsaur at the same cost, because he can go face, and like whenever Charge like can automatically go face, it's kind of dangerous for the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, you're right. King Crush does exist for 1 more mana and 2 more attack. So.
And Leroy is the same attack on 5 mana. So
yeah,
if you're looking at pure, is this too broken to go face? Like, no, it's way over costed. You know, if that's all you're trying to do. So
yeah, the dragon tag makes it a little stronger too. Obviously, I mean, immunity to priest shenanigans mainly. But yeah, it's cool. All right, up next from Kuyoya, who actually gave us like a pretty decently like serious submission this time.
Yeah.
We have Shed Ninja, which is a 5 mana 3/5. He always makes his card gold. I think it's Rogue. Right there on the edge, I see some black.
It's probably Rogue.
I think it's Rogue. It is a 3/5 stealth that can only be damaged by spells. So you just have this like really resilient minion that's insane for trading. Like this kind of makes me think of Lotus Assassin, which was clearly created to be a minion to trade with. Who's a 5 mana 5/5 stealth that re-stealths when he kills something. This is just a little bit better than that because it has like way more trading potential because he doesn't take damage from minions.
Do you know Shedinja's ability in the game?
No, I don't.
I can't remember what it's called, and I feel stupid, but Magic Guard or something? But anyway, Shedinja can only be damaged. Shedinja has 1 HP.
Oh, okay.
But it can only be damaged by super effective moves. So I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
I think that's what Kuyoya was going for with this.
Oh,
so,
we got a bunch of Wonder Guard. It's called Wonder Guard.
Wonder Guard.
There
It's
you go.
Wonder Guard, yeah. So, yeah, that's the principle behind this. I mean, really, you could have given it 1 health, and that would have been more true to the actual Pokemon. So
that's true.
And it still wouldn't matter. You could still trade with it, and it wouldn't die. So
yeah, I mean, definitely, like, in Hearthstone, though, there's so many board wipes that I feel like 1 health might, like, this at least survives a Flame Strike, which is good.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I like the idea behind it. I always got the sense that, Shed Ninja was just, like, a tanky little duder, so.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. It's
no
cool.
one really uses it, but it's Mimi.
It's Mimi. Well, hey, that's perfect for Kuyoya.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Up next from I'm a Dragon, we have Bulbasaur, basically. Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. It's kind of a different playoff of the Spellstone mechanic where the card changes when certain conditions are met. He did specify that this does not happen when the card's in your hand. It has to be in play for it to evolve, which is its ability. So it starts out as a 3-mana 3/4 that can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. So, the Fairy Dragon ability, basically. It is a beast. It's a druid card. And it evolves when you play a beast. And it evolves into Ivysaur, of course, when you play a beast, which is a 4-mana 4/5 with the same untargetable ability. Play one more beast, and it evolves into Venusaur, which is a 5-mana 5/6 with taunt and the untargetable ability still. I really like the idea behind it. I like how it uses a mechanic that's already in the game, and it's cool to see, the evolution. I do think it's a little bit strong, though.
You're talking... I don't know. You're talking on curve, like 3-mana 3/4 is the vanilla 3-mana minion, and then it can't be targeted, and then it gets better, and then it gets better. Mm-hmm. So... probably pretty OP, but the idea behind it, we both really liked. So
yeah, the thing that tips the scales, because like Bulbasaur on his own isn't quite as good as like say Cabal Talon Priest, right? Because Talon Priest, as long as you've got a minion on the board, is worth like way more stats. But what makes Bulbasaur, what tips him into the OP range, is that his trading ability is too strong because you can trade into something that won't kill it, and then play a beast, evolve it, and it's fully healed with more health. Yeah. So that's
true.
The main problem there. Yeah. But it's really cool. I really like it.
Yeah, it called to both of us.
It did. It's got that I'm a Dragon design. All right, up next from Tachyon Railgun, we got Zap Cannon, which is I like this one because it captures actually one of my least favorite things about Pokemon. So it's a
RNG.
Yep, RNG. It's a 6-mana epic mage spell that silences, freezes, and deals 7 damage to a character. And it even specifies that a silenced hero will be unable to hero power or emote for 1 turn. And we actually have precedent in the game for this. When you fight the Lich King, as priest, you can't emote.
Silence, priest.
But, and here's the part that really ties in well to Pokemon, there is a 50% chance of hitting a random enemy character instead.
Yep, that's Zap Cannon. Yeah, I don't know if you remember the exact stats of Zap Cannon, but it was a 150 power electric move that guaranteed a paralyze, but it had 50% accuracy.
Yeah. So I like it. It's still playable because it's so incredibly powerful, and the 50% chance can't like hit your side of the board or you in the face.
Yeah, it can't. It's never gonna hit nothing, So
yeah. So I mean, honestly, you just make sure the board's clear, use Zap Cannon, and it's got a 100% chance to hit face. So
or like just make sure every target. It's like Ragnaros. Just make sure every target is like good to hit.
Yeah, it's like a decent target to hit. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's really cool.
Also, I like that they used fucking not Grubbin, not Charjabug, Vikavolt. Probably my favorite Pokemon from Sun and Moon, Vikavolt. He's cool. So.
Oh, okay. Sweet. I never got that far, but he looks really cool. It's like Bug Electric. They started doing a lot of Bug Electrics. That's
yeah, they keep trying to make bugs good, and they've succeeded.
All right.
So, yeah.
So, for the last one that we picked for this one, and which was a very, very difficult challenge. We picked Elecman 24's Master Ball, which is an epic spell that is 2 mana that adds an enemy minion to your hand. It keeps its current health value, so if it's been damaged or buffed or anything, that's all stays with it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting, because that doesn't usually happen when it's in your hand. But you also take the damage equal to that minion's attack. So it seems... It is like a tad overpowered, right? Because you're taking something off the board and putting it in your hand. It's like a sap for your hand. But if it's something huge, you're like taking a ton of damage to do it. So
yeah, honestly, it seems very, very warlocky. Because you're hurting yourself. And I don't think this has or is it druid? Either doesn't have a class or it's druid.
I don't think it has a class, because druid's like more brown. This is like a pretty neutrally color.
Which it makes sense for like a trainer card.
Yeah. So that's everyone that we picked, but like we were saying, everything was really good, and I actually think I can do this easily enough. I'm just gonna check to see how this will work, because I think it'd be cool to just take a look at everything we got this time. And I have a scene here where I think we can just throw the internet up there. Yeah. So we're just gonna take a look at everything. So we already read through those ones. Those just like slightly edged out the others, but we're just gonna do something a little different this time. This one here is from Dougie Fresh. It's Mewtwo, where he's a 9-mana 7/7 neutral minion, and you battle cry to take control of all enemy minions until end of turn. And it works like Shadow Madness and Potion of Madness, where they'll gain charge so you can actually do something with them. We both really like the idea behind this, and it's really cool, but the reason we didn't pick this one is because we thought it was a little too strong.
So OP.
Yeah. So basically, you're stealing... if your opponent has like a great board and they're presenting lethal, well, you can just turn that around and present lethal right back at them instead.
Yeah. 9 mana win.
Yeah. It's pretty much 9 mana win almost. Against certain decks, not against every deck, but most decks, like we've always said, like Hearthstone's a very board-centric game. So this really is kind of game-breaking at the power level that it's at. But really cool idea still, though. I think a priest epic that does that ability, like to almost any minion, would be cool to see in the future. Like a steal ability. I think that's pretty centric to priest.
I mean, it makes sense from Mewtwo, because in the movie he like fucking sent out his custom Pokeballs and stole everyone's shit. So that was cool. Yeah.
So here's one from Overlord CHS. It starts out as Y Cocoon, and it's 6 mana. It's just a placeholder. It doesn't die. It's a 0/0, but it doesn't just die when it comes out. It comes out like Shirzan Corpse Flower in the dormant state, and after 3 turns, it transforms in Eviltal. So even if you're hitting this on curve, you're not looking at actually getting Eviltal until turn 9, which is a 10/10 with Lifesteal and Death Rattle to destroy all minions and resummon Y Cocoon. And it also has built-in protection against bounce and transform. So basically, it's always going to revert to its dormant state. I think that is kind of what tips it over to the OP range. So basically, the ones we didn't pick were because they were a little too strong. It's like the lifesteal and the fact that you can never get rid of this once it hits, sort of thing. It's just too exploitable, especially with classes like Warlock, where they can just Dark Pact this thing whenever they need a board clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also felt like this one was a little complicated for Hearthstone. More complicated than anything they would actually print, which is kind of a parameter that we go off of.
Yeah.
But it's still, I really like this one.
Yeah, it's a super cool idea. I think the game would benefit from doing more stuff like the dormant state and the, whatever they want to call the Lakari Sacrifice portal. I don't think there's even like an official name for it, honestly. Like what the actual physical thing on the board that takes up a spot is called.
Right, yeah, that's like just there sometimes.
Yeah, so it's cool to see stuff being explored like that. From Aorikos, we got Rayquaza, which is a 10-mana 8/8 badass it's neutral legendary with Mega Wind Fury, which is we've actually seen this used before. Not on any card that was actually put into the game, but Mega Wind Fury basically means they can attack 4 times. And wait, no, it actually has been put into the game ever since Kobolds and Catacombs. That was the first time it was put in.
No,
the
it was on something. It was on something before that. I
really?
swear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It wasn't like an official card, obviously, but it
Right.
was. Yeah, it was on. I remember I saw that again, and I was like, Mega Wind Fury. That wasn't that a thing that happened before. But anyway, if anyone knows, let us know what the other. Oh,
Voltron.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, Voltron from GVG.
Oh, okay. So I kind of missed. What was Voltron? He's not a collectible
You had
card.
to have. It was a Mimiron's head.
Oh, Mimiron's head. Yes.
yeah.
Okay. I never saw it happen, so that's why it.
No one did.
Yeah, no one did. So he's got Mega Wind Fury, and he's an 8/8, so that's insane already. But when this minion deals damage, deal that much damage to your hero. So it's kind of game breaking in both senses. In that if you actually get to attack with it and like set up lethal on your opponent without lethal to yourself, I mean obviously he can do that very easily. But also, it's like super exploitable for if your opponent, when you play this minion, has a bunch of minions down already, because if they're trading into him, he's dealing 8 damage to them, and you're killing yourself. So this is just
too
extreme.
If it's turn 10 and your opponent doesn't have taunt and they have less than 32 health, 32 or less health, and basically if it's turn 10, they don't have taunt and you have more health than them, you win.
Right, but he doesn't have charge.
He doesn't have charge. He doesn't have charge.
I actually think
true.
he'd need charge to even be playable. Because like I said, every time an opponent trades into your minion, it's dealing its full damage too, which is translating into face damage for you.
Yeah.
So it's just like a little too extreme.
Yes. This card's too extreme. It's just like it's either like you're gonna get yourself wrecked or you're gonna just ruin someone's day. So.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a cool idea. I mean, I think that's kind of the whole steez with Rayquaza anyway, is that he's a little extreme. So,
Yeah.
All right. This one was really close to making it in here. From Mana X, we have Magikarp, which is
Oh yeah, I love this one.
1 mana, -2/1. And when Magikarp kills a minion and actually lives also, you can transform it into Gyarados. So obviously it's kind of, he was literally like for the memes. So somehow you'd have to buff this thing to where you could actually kill something, and then you would get Gyarados, which is a 20/20. I think it would even just make sense if he was just a 0/1, Yeah. Like it's still even hard enough just as a 0/1.
Because if you're gonna buff him, you gotta buff him. Making him -2 attack isn't going to change the fact that you still need to buff his ass.
Yeah, but you need to buff him more, right? Like +1 attack doesn't get him there anymore. It's now you have to give him like at least +3. So
yeah. So that one I almost made it in. I really like that one.
Yeah.
Obviously just kind of a silly card.
See, at Salty Dog Podcast for the memes. That's what we get.
Yeah.
All right. So from Harrison, we got 2 different cards here. We got Z Power, which is 8 mana, and for 1 turn your hero's power's effect is doubled. Which, it's just, that could be a lot less mana, basically.
This needs to be less mana for sure.
It's a little too much. This one has like a lot more potential, possibly, if you're playing a deck that has like a huge hand, like hand lock type deals. It's called Mega Evolution, 8 mana, and pick an ally minion and buff its attack or health based on the number of cards in your hand. I think that should just say, buff its attack and health. So, you could 8 mana. It would basically be like a dino size.
Yeah, I think this could also stand to be a little less mana.
It could. Dino size is better because dino size always gives you a 10/10 regardless of how many cards. So this could definitely, some control deck could actually use this as like a win condition. And just be like, got a huge thing now. Yeah, then, it helps that it's neutral. Like, Dino Size is only, in Paladin, so...
Yeah.
But, thanks for that, Harrison. So
someone actually went after the Mega Evolution, bait.
Bait.
It's there.
So this is actually, Dookie and I didn't realize it right away, but we did realize it eventually, that this is actually the second time that Nepeta has sent us this Inkay Malamar combo here. It's just we both like the mechanic behind it. It's just a little specific. So let me go ahead and read it. It's 5 mana for a 4/5, and if this minion's attack and health are swapped, it evolves into Malamar. So you'd have to be running stuff like Void Rippers and confuse priest type stuff to actually evolve this thing. Then it would become a 6/7, and if a minion's stats would be changed, you instead reverse it by that same amount. So I personally didn't even understand what that really meant at first. It was you that kind of cracked the code. So if you want to,
well,
yeah,
I figure what that means. If a minion stat would change, reverse it. That would either mean instead of gaining 4 attack, you'd lose 4 attack, or it could mean like if it's something like Spike Ridge Steed. If it's something like Spike Ridge Steed, instead of getting +2/+6, you get +6/+2. I feel like it could be either one of those. So I'm not sure what they were going for there. I know what they were going for because this makes sense with Inkay and Malamar's contrary ability and the way you have to evolve Inkay, which I think involves turning your DS upside down. So,
okay.
Yeah, so it flavor-wise, obviously this is on point. But mechanics-wise, we just didn't really know how this worked.
Yeah. And it's just like an oddly specific thing for Hearthstone. Like, the attack and health swapping has always been kind of on the fringe of the game and mainly like an arena type thing. So,
yeah.
All right. Let's see. Is there anything left? Well, we can look at these real quick. These are all from Stefan S, and who we did actually end up going with his Darkrai, but we did both like Rare Candy, which is kind of an interesting neutral spell. It's 1 mana, give a minion +1/+1, and it's repeatable. So you have like the unstable evolution thing going on there. Dookie made a really good point though, which was that you pointed out that this is straight up just better than most buff cards in the game, including Blessing of Kings, because it's equal. I mean, it's 4 mana for +4/+4, just like Kings. Right, but it could also be 5 mana for +5/+5, which gives its potential is higher.
Flexibility is important in card games, and it's not at 1 mana. It's not as good as Divine Strength, but you could make it 2 mana +2/+2, 3 mana +2. You can just spend the rest of your mana, like whatever turn you're on, just fucking crack out one of your minions with Rare Candy. And we also were discussing, like, you couldn't put this in Mage because they get Sorcerer's Apprentice. You couldn't put this in Priest because they get Radiant Elemental. You probably shouldn't put this in Rogue if you know what's good for you. Druid also does the Miracle thing and in the spell thing, so that's a little questionable. But I think we both decided that this would probably be a Paladin card.
Wait. Guys, I have 3 words for you guys. You ready? You ready for this? It's going to blow your mind. The Last Kaleidosaur.
Oh. You want to make Quest Paladin a thing? Print Rare Candy.
That's what you need.
That's what you need.
Rare Candy and Paladin. The Last Kaleidosaur.
Yep. It's happening.
All right.
And also, you run Linessa.
Yes, you run Linessa too. And then somebody just wanted to troll Dookie with this last one here. It's actually still Stefan Essen with Tierno, the best rival. 3 mana, the best Paladin epic, even though they already have legendaries, even though they already have the best legendaries, even better. 3 mana 4/3, do a dance that kills 3 enemy minions. IDK, I just wanted to insult Dookie by making a Tierno Paladin legendary.
I think whenever I start ripping on the bad rivals in the later generations, Tierno is always my main target because he's just the most fucking pointless idiot. Like, I don't even think he battles you half the time. He's just like, I just want to dance. And people are like, Tierno is a rival. And I'm like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Nice one.
You got him.
You got me.
You got him. Jebaited. All right.
Good.
So 2 more Pokemon cards to do. Me and Dookie's. So up first, as always, you are here with Scizor, which is not the one I expected you to go with, or probably anybody that knows your YouTube expected you to go with.
You guys thought I was gonna make Blastoise. I made Scizor because I just got one in Pokemon Go and I'm really excited about it, and I've been like fighting every gym I can with it, and just I don't know, it's just fun. It's such a good designed Pokemon. It's so badass. But anyway, so Scizor is a 4-mana 4/7 warrior epic minion. It's immune to dragons. When attacking minions, it deals its damage first, and it takes double damage from spells and hero powers. So, few things went into this. Steel being a dragon counter is why he's immune to dragons. I know Steel isn't immune, but you can't really do half damage in Hearthstone because of rounding. And then he's got, when attacking a minion, he deals his damage first. It's sorry, just reading a comment. I'll allow that, DJ. You can call me a dumbass. So when attacking, he deals his damage first. That's because if you're running Scizor, you're obviously running Bullet Punch.
Right.
Yes, Ace Trainer Liam knows it's Bullet Punch. So basically the way that'll work, it works like First Strike in Magic the Gathering, and if you don't know what that is, when two minions do combat with each other, like in Hearthstone, normally they deal their damage to each other at the same time, but Scizor will actually deal his damage first, and if it kills the minion, then he takes no damage.
Yeah.
And then of course I gave him double damage from spells and hero powers because of his crippling fire weakness. So,
Yeah.
One, obviously a fireball does him in, fucking anything that's 4 damage or more does him in instantly.
Yeah, you've got all your fancy reasonings and excuses, but we all know this is just a priest hard counter, and that's why you want it.
But it's only a warrior card, and warrior sucks right now. So this might actually put warrior back into the meta.
So yeah, obviously immune, like the only class that uses dragons anymore is priest. It's got 4 attacks, so it's immune to the shadow words of priest. Priest doesn't have barely any spells that deal damage.
Right, and I don't want him to get fucked by non-damage spells like the shadow words.
Yeah.
It needs to be damaging spells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a 4-mana 4/7 because you can kill him so easily with spells.
Yeah, like against mage, like you just cry if you draw this card against mage.
But he might be a little. Actually, I was thinking about making him a 4/6, and then I never did it.
Okay, so we'll just imagine that he's a 4/6.
That way, you could take him out with a Frostbolt.
With one Frostbolt, yeah.
Yeah, one Frostbolt. So anyway, he's a 4/6. He's a 4/6.
All right. So last up, I got mine here, which, like I was saying in the Q&A earlier, I did my favorite little Pokemon, it's Jolteon, who is a 5-mana 3/3 epic shaman card. So you could run 2 of this guy. He has charge and battle cry to deal 3 damage to all enemy minions, but he also has overload 4. So you're going into the turn after you play him with much smaller mana pool. Yeah. He deals, like, I basically balanced this card around a few different shaman cards that all kind of are not that great, especially right now. Volcano, Lightning Storm, and Elemental Destruction, which the class has, especially like the control archetypes of the class, has really missed since that rotated. Because that was kind of one of the main ways that control shamans could regain board in the later turns. So basically, you get the guaranteed 3 damage, especially since being a minion, it won't be affected by spell damage. And basically, it's just kind of like capturing the essence of the card because he's so fast that he's basically coming out and dealing his damage to everything. Because he's just like, he's there and he's just like runs through the whole enemy team. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And then you can still even run him into face or finish off a minion that didn't die in the battle cry AoE. Yeah. That's my duder.
I think with that much overload and that much impact on the board immediately, he's balanced because your next turn's going to be slow, but, damn, on turn 5, 3 damage to all enemy minions plus a charge minion is pretty dank. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he's balanced.
Yeah, basically, I mean, you're really running him for the AoE, and like if you've actually got bored when you play this, it's pretty incredible because it's not hitting your own minions like Duskbreaker. That's another card that I had in mind when I was playing, when I was thinking of this. And Duskbreaker hits your whole side of the board too, so there's actually games where he's really difficult to play. Jolteon, you can just slam jam anytime you need like a significant board swing. So.
Yeah, you don't know. You can be playing a tempo shaman. You don't need to be playing control to run this.
Yeah.
This can come out, just on curve and just fuck stuff up, and you just continue to pound your opponent. So
yeah.
All
right. So
the Louis Do brings up a good point. Since it's in shaman, you could evolve this.
That's true too.
Get a 6-mana minion.
Yeah, I thought of that. I totally thought of that.
Yeah.
No, but what I did just think of also, in addition to that, is it does synergize with other shaman cards, such as Rockbiter Weapon with the charge, and also, if you were on 10 mana, you could even play this and Bloodlust in the same turn. So getting an extra body to Bloodlust. So
I think it's a pretty jamming card.
Thanks, man. Jolteon's a pretty jamming Pokemon.
He's a cool Pokey.
So, but that actually does it for this show. Thanks to all of our submitters. I think I'm glad we went over all the cards this time because those were all really good. Like there was no contender that was like easy to pass up on.
Yeah,
so.
it was tough to eliminate things. So yeah, I'm glad we got to go over them all.
Yeah.
So the next card challenge is on you. If you have it, do you have what you want to do?
Yeah. It kind of dawned on me. Like I don't know why I'm thinking of this right now, but it's just kind of on my mind. So I'm gonna throw it out there. I feel like Hearthstone's always had a difficult time with making healing spells that are actually interesting and like playable. We haven't really seen much of that at all. Like even Moonglade Portal, which is still in standard, doesn't make it into Druid decks, even though it's heal plus summon a minion of equal cost.
Yeah.
It's just kind of strange to me. Like we end up seeing all of our healing come from these like kind of cheesy, like weird ways, right? Like Druid gets all of its healing from like Malfurion the Pestilent and like Earthen Scales, which isn't a true healing spell at all. It's all armor and stuff. We see priests from time to time run Greater Healing Potion, and my Raza priest actually runs Binding Heal, but it's all just cheese in that deck, right? Because you're really running 3 cards in that deck, and the rest of the deck's just to try to get to those cards.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the game's kind of lacking in like interesting spells that are just like straight up heal, and it's a good card that you want to use. So whatever class you want, or neutral or whatever, but I mean there aren't really neutral spells, but just a spell. It's got to be a spell because we've got minions that heal that are good.
Yeah,
but
like that's good because it's attached to a minion.
Exactly. So let's figure out a way like that. Some interesting healing spells could actually make its way into some ranked play.
Make a usable healing spell.
Yes,
that is a challenge. So thank you guys so much for watching. I feel like we had a great audience this time.
Yeah, we did.
Shout outs to Ace Trainer Liam. First time I've seen you in our chat, dude. So thanks for hanging out. If you guys want to follow us on Twitter, it is at Salty Dog Podcast. I am at Dookie Shed. Clash is at KLASHE_HS. You can check out my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Dookie Shed. I stream on there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yes.
And then we stream together on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Clash streams on his channel. I stream on mine. And we have been playing a wonderful little indie game called Blood and Bacon, where you destroy undead pigs with lots of guns. And it is so stupid and awesome.
Yes, there are bad covers of Blurry Face and everything that you could hope for.
Oh my god!
In a video game.
So, if you like our show, be sure to give us good ratings wherever you are listening to your podcast. If you listen to the VODs, or if you watch the VODs, or listen to the audio, try to make it out to our live shows on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can get in on the action firsthand, see your card submissions live if you submitted one. And with that, I think that's all we got.
All right, guys. Well, that was a great episode. Had a lot of fun with you guys. We will be back on Tuesday for a stream, and of course next week for another exciting episode of the Salty Dog Podcast. But until then, stay salty.
Stay salty.
And hashtag night.